There is a word that content creators are the next entrepreneurs. Do you agree with this?
I think this was, anything that's trendy, right? It just becomes like a word that and a phrase that everybody keeps using. This actually started in the pandemic era, where large businesses were going to content creators because everybody was digital and everybody was locked on their phones and screens. So naturally, all attention was going to content creators. The market and the trends keep moving their attention from one thing to another, and content creators are just like distributors. Any actual dhanda, right? Like you go on the ground, there is some manufacturer, and then there are these traders jo kirane ka saman or the grocery store, they will like put into different smaller shops in every locality. I see content creators more like a distributor first rather than just entrepreneurs.
But let's say if the person is building his or her own brand or something, selling himself, then maybe it is a better way to distribute as well at the same time. First build distribution and then, let's say you reach 1 million followers and then you start a company. But that is also a good way to start.
I mean, if you have 1 million followers, why do you need to take the headache of building a product or whatever, another software that you want to sell or anything? Then become a media company, right? Media is a much better business for you, and like.
But afterwards, the person needs to, shift his positioning or her positioning that, I'm not just a content creator, because honestly, I'm seeing this, that let's say if you say someone that you are a content creator, it's less of a,
they don't take you seriously.
Yeah.
But I
they
think
don't as in, that is not like the fame associated with it is not that great. But let's say if you say that a person is, a business person, then the rush, the high is more.
I think I would say Gen Zs can also be investors, right? Like be an angel investor in a startup.
But the person does not have money, then what to do?
So let's take example of this 1 million follower. Okay?
Yeah. Interesting.
The 1 million, let's take this as a case study. Let's say there is a person, I think on Late End, this Jenny person recently came on the Late End show. I saw her before the show, she had 1 million followers and she has great sense of humor. And just like in 2-3 days of time, she has like 1.8 or close to 2 million followers. Now, for her to make easy money, okay, if her aim in life is to make easy money, I would say just do brand deals. Why do you want to get the headache of, starting your own product line about, let's say, some D2C software, like some D2C business or a software business or something else? You can just do your own like brand partnerships, do long-term brand partnerships, leverage the new growth and engagement that you're getting on your account and like capitalize on that. As long as your aim is to make money, I would say like find easy ways of doing it. You don't always have to have difficult ways and hard ways towards success. There can be easy ways also.
Right.
And for example, if by being a media company as a content creator, I reach to let's say $10 million of net worth in 5 years, and I have an easy, comfortable life also while doing that. And if I start my own entrepreneurship journey and start my product line and everything and reach to $12 million in 5 years, I made $2 million extra. But this amount of stress I had and the amount of like challenges I went through is unnecessary sometimes.
But people don't understand it, no? That normally this comes with time. This wisdom comes with time that, just after spending already 2 years, you come to realize that this is really hard.
Yeah, that's why you should listen to Mr. Seven's podcast. So then they will get to know that all the people I've had, जिसने ये सब ठोकर खाई है, they are telling you now that there are easy ways also to make money. See, I think entrepreneurship.
Why is Nikhil Kamath doing this podcast?
I seriously am finding answers for it, but I think it's also great place for him to build his own distribution for next phase of startups that he's building, right? Like let's say for example, this Broadway company that they have started. Now what does Broadway do? They are like offline retail chain for all the online businesses like Niche Hair or some of these other like popular online brands. For those independent brands to go and get a mall space in a Copa Mall or let's say Phoenix would be very difficult. But when Nikhil Kamath and Kishore Biyani partner together and start Broadway and they launch these small brands in a big space like Copa Mall and Bangalore and Hyderabad, Delhi, other places, naturally it becomes like a great fit for them. So I think for him, this is also another way of like distribution, I feel.
Also, I think he enjoys conversating with people. I think that's his USP. USP as in he likes that.
See, he has a large team. Whenever he's interviewing a guest, he's not sitting and searching on Claude GPT and Google that, okay, give me questions about this person or all of that. Or maybe he even does. He might have his own ways of, like getting to know a person via when their network is so strong, they can just like WhatsApp a friend and ask him, tell me 5 questions that I should ask XYZ person, and they would like give them those 5 questions. So for him, I think it's also easy way to do it. Like a lot of these founders who have already made their worth in the world, they always think about return on energy and return on time.
Right.
It's not just the return on investment in terms of money, but the return on energy and return on time is also something that they absolutely like keep in mind. That, okay, if I'm going to spend my 2 hours today on this podcast recording, what is it going to lead me to? The same podcast can give him access to Elon Musk's like the team and all of that. No doubt he's one of India's like richest person, but I think having that kind of network also becomes very, very important. So I think it's more, I would say, from a distribution and network perspective. Of course, we'll never know the actual like factual answers and his reasons of doing it, but I also feel he's doing great. I think that
do you listen to his podcasts?
The early ones, yes. Now I think
the group discussion ones are way better than the one-on-one.
Yeah, and I think like certain topics about like what India needs, and let's say I think they had a topic about alcohol businesses and some of those things. So those were fascinating because like I have never heard about the alcohol business in so much depth. But like listening to that over a 2.5 hour long form podcast without the gimmicks of sound effects and all those things, right? It's slow conversations that are going on. And that's the kind of like content I have also started like enjoying. Like I don't want the constant flashes of text and those risers, SFX and all of those things coming into my screen, because I know it's a way to give me dopamine and to keep me hooked. But like listening to his conversations is more like, okay, I feel like, oh, I am in a boardroom and I am talking to these people and I'm part of the conversations. So I think his audience is also this kind rather than...
the TAM is clearly different.
Correct. One, I think just like on another thought in my head, I think when you have this widespread distribution, right, like understand how the VC world also works. Any new age startup founder who has newer ideas, let's say in the health and wellness space or other space, when they have the right idea, they have the initial users and everything, they start going for fundraising, right? The first name that would come to your head would be Nikhil Kamath and his team, because they have constantly heard him, seen him on internet. He's constantly talking about how he funded 25 founders under 25 age and all of that.
So if the person has 2 options, 2 VCs, then obviously the person would like to go to this Nikhil Kamath rather than...
Because initially, like 10 years ago for us, it was like, okay, the institutional VCs were the people that we could raise money from.
Right.
Or angel investors who would like give you the money. So I think that was the option, but today it's not like that. Today even content creators have become like angel investors.
So basically his distribution is his money via his podcast.
Exactly. And if you make the VCs who come in as the early investors, they make the most money, right? Like let's say the Grow app or Meesho app, they got publicly listed, but their first early investors were Y Combinator from US and few India investors in their series A round or in their second, third round as well. And when you go in early on a startup, it's the valuation game, right? Like how stock market also works. You take, let's say, 2% of the company at a valuation of, let's say, $10 million. But when they got publicly listed, that 2% became $100 million.
100x to 100x.
So, like...
recently that also happened with Meta, taking a stake in this cred. The earlier investors got 17x, 20x returns.
So I don't know the exact details of those numbers and the math that has happened over there, but I think I also feel that's kind of like the case, because I think in total Cred had raised $900 million and then Meta also invested $900 million in it, and Kunal joined over there. So it kind of also seems like an acqui-hiring kind of like a deal, but I honestly have not read too deeply into it. These are just some Reddits and tweets that just were floating, and that's what I'm like quoting here, but I'm not got into the details, but it seems like that kind. But every VC wants to get in early and then make sure that they exit when they get into IPO or other things.
Let's say you have got 100 crores. So your path would be via entrepreneurship to make next 1,000 crores or via VC method to make next 1,000 crores.